open because I feel the heat and almost like a hole in the center of my hand. I can nearly imagine that I can see it as well, but I can feel like a heat, a sort of a feeling of something happening in the center of my hand. And hi Rasheen, and I can feel my fingers getting very pixely. Now if I look at my hand, and I hope you guys are doing the same thing here with yours, and actually watch my hand as it moves slightly on the screen, I can see the energy field around my hand, because when you start to feel that buzzy feeling, then you're slightly in a meditative state, and you're kind of just a little bit connected to the spiritual, not that deep, but a little bit connected to the spiritual, and you can start to see the energy field around the hand. Now I can see the energy field around my hand very strong at the moment, and if I wiggle my fingers like this, I can see like white trails of energy. I wonder, can you see that? Can you see white trails of energy as I wiggle my fingers back and forth? It takes some practice to do it, but this is something that you could do. A screen is great for doing it, but you can do it in front of the mirror as well. Do it in front of maybe a white wall or a pale wall, a blank canvas, and have your hand very far from you, and just focus on the wall just past your fingers a little bit, and you'll start to see your energy field around your fingers, and just experiment then with moving your fingers back and forth. You see the wee white, sort of very like hazy white trails of the energy as you move back and forth. You know, something comes to my mind. This has just popped into my mind, and I'm going to say it to you guys. When you're traveling in an airplane, the airplane is traveling that fast. You think you're staying still, but you're actually not. And somebody's sitting in front of you, and they're like, I mean, you know, this far behind in front of you, like it's maybe 2-3 feet in front of you. They're there, and their energy field is there, and you know, when the airplane gives that sort of, you know, this kind of turbulence or whatever, you can very easily find yourself in that person's energy field. See the way my energy, it leaves a trail. So that person's energy field is here, and you're behind it, and the airplane is turbulent, and the next thing you're in that person's energy field. So you can pick up a lot from that person in that way. It's just something to bear in mind. That's how energy works. Okay, so that exercise, we're focusing on our hand, and it starts to feel a bit warm. You can feel the hand chakra opening, and just keep focusing. Allow yourself to go into that meditative state. Allow yourself to get a little bit hazy and maybe a wee bit dreamy, and best done when you are kind of sleepy, where you're ready to go to sleep, or you've just woken up from sleep and you're not quite awake, or you're lying in the heat and you feel dozy, you know, a kind of nice, content, relaxed feeling. Your body must be very relaxed for you to come out of your body. And so focus on your hand in those states, and allow yourself to feel the buzzing, allow yourself to feel the heat, you know, focus right into the spiritual vortex in the center of your hand. And my head is even buzzing a little as I allow myself to relax even more. It feels like my hand is separate from my consciousness. I'm very much aware of it. I'm aware of the shape of it, and I'm aware of its physicality, but it doesn't feel like it's attached to my consciousness. It feels like it's out there somewhere. It could be out there hovering in the air, and I can feel it, but it's not attached to my wrist in a kind of a way. So that's, I think, a really good exercise to do to help you get into that, experience that state where you can then begin to experience astral travel, out of body experience. The second exercise I gave you was that sort of swing boat exercise, and that was about allowing your solar plexus, so focusing on your solar plexus in the same way as you focus on the hand. It's more difficult with the solar plexus. It's very easy with your hand, but it takes practice. It might even take months practice. It might even take years practice, but some people come out of their body like that, and some people don't come out for a very long time. You need to be in that relaxed state in order to do it consciously, but it can happen spontaneously if you're in a state of shock, where it's almost like a survival technique for you to come out of your body, a survival, what would you call it, tool for you to come out of your body. And you can be very much in the astral worlds and looking back and seeing your body sitting there. But the thing about that is, usually when you come out of your body because of shock or some kind of trauma or an accident or something, like me in my car accident where I come out of my body, when you see your body, when you turn around and see your body there, you usually click back in straight away, because your mind, your sort of ego mind says, this is not possible. It's not possible that I'm looking at myself. And so you kind of click back in. So I always teach astral travel that you're on the swing boat and then you oost out forwards, don't look back. Oost out forwards, go somewhere that you know, go into your bedroom, go into the corner of your garden, go into your kitchen, into the bathroom, anywhere where you know each step of the way, you know what you're going to see, you know what you're going to smell, you know what's sitting on the shelf right beside you as it passes by, you know what it feels like to push open that door to the bathroom or to the bedroom, you know where your bed is, you know it that well that you can really imagine it. And as Black Elk says, fake it till you make it. And do your astral traveling like this, and then one day you will realize that you're actually not pretending any longer. Excuse me. You're not pretending any longer. You're not having to imagine it any longer. And I'll tell you this too, guys, when you're imagining it, you are actually a little bit out. You're not completely in your body. So you are kind of a little bit out into the astral realms, but not out enough so that you would be able to turn around and see your body, you know, back where you left it. So use your imagination. It brings you into a meditation. It gives you the confidence to feel that, you know, oh, this must be what it feels like to be out of the body, because you're imagining that you're somewhere else. And incidentally, imagination is a form of meditation, and imagination can lead to out-of-body experiences. For example, I used to read in the old days, I'm talking about 2002, 2003, beginning of my sort of awakening and experiences like this. After as an adult, that is, not as a child, because it used to happen all the time then, only I didn't realise what it was. But yeah, I was reading about this lady, and what's her name? Oh, it'll come to me. Great healer, Betty Shine. And it was a book of Betty's. And she would talk about sitting in her living room and meditating, and then she used to feel that she would be coming out of her body a little bit, and then one day she was imagining that she did come out of her body, and then she used to do this every day, and then it actually turned into she had an experience where she thought that she was walking into her local village, and she found it very strange because she didn't feel like her feet were on the ground, and she felt like she was able to see over the hedge that she was walking along, whereas normally she wouldn't be able to see over the hedge, so she was a wee bit higher up. And she saw a few of her friends sitting outside a cafe having a cup of coffee or whatever, and she waved to them, and then she came back to her body, and she didn't actually realise that she had been out of her body, astral travelling properly, until her friends clarified that she'd seen them, that they had seen her in the village at that particular time. So that was her report about astral travel. And you know what, I can totally get how she didn't know that, because I can only speculate as to how many times I came out of my body as a child, and I bet 9 out of 10 of you have done the same thing, but you didn't realise what you were doing, and maybe you were so relaxed or whatever, and in such a dreamy state, that before you knew it, you were out of your body and you were going forwards, and you thought you were outside playing, or you thought you were in the green with black elk, or you thought you were doing something else, and maybe then you thought that you were waking up out of a sleep, and your body was back where you left it, sort of thing, and you didn't quite realise that you'd actually been out of your body. So it's a very natural thing to do. I mean, people used to do it all the time in indigenous cultures. They used to do that all the time. The Native American cultures do it all the time, and in the past they did, maybe not now, but to them that was a very natural thing to do. They called it dream time, and it was a very natural thing for them to do. It's only, I think, over the last maybe few hundred years or whatever, that is particularly in our sort of white world, where we kind of been taught that things like that are not possible, and so we kind of got to the stage now where we think, no, that's impossible. So in order for us now to try this and to practice it, we think it's something that we have to learn how to do, something very difficult that we have to learn how to do, when in actual fact, if we don't try too hard, and if we trust in ourselves and trust in our guides, then we probably will be able to do it very, very easily. When I first began to do it as an adult, it did frighten me a little bit. One of my first experience of it was in 2002, when I had a healer come into the house, because I was in a wheelchair. I'd been in hospital for 3 months, and then I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I was still in bed for quite a while after I came home, and this healer came to the house every second Tuesday to work with me, and wonderful guy called Matthew Lennon from Kildare, fantastic healer. And he used to work with me, and then I would talk to him about black elk and seeing black elk again. I'd talk to him about my past with black elk and that, and then I'd talk to him about, I'd say, oh gosh, I'm coming out of my body, because I'd feel like I was drifting high up. I told you a lie. That wasn't my first experience. My first experience was when I got attuned with Reiki 1. And the Reiki practitioner had me hovering above my body. Second was with Matthew, and Matthew said, don't be afraid, come to me. And I think maybe I trusted him so much, perhaps I already instinctively knew how to, because I'm a shaman, but somehow I came to him in a moment, in a split moment. There was no time between him saying come to me and and me being out of my body and experiencing myself as a little boy, looking at a little bird with a broken wing, putting it into a box, talking to my father about it, bringing it into the hot press, tending to it, all of these days and memories just playing out in front of myself, in front of me. And I was a little boy, and I came back into my own body, and I told Matthew all about it, and he said those were his experiences, those were his memories, those things really happened to him, and I was able to describe his father and everything. So that's an example of being astral travelling into the past. I came to Matthew, and I immediately connected with a part of Matthew that was nice, was safe, a safe feeling, you know. So for me that was great. Astral travelling, coming out of the body, then is something that's so natural, and when you are in a deep meditative state, and you're able to get there by, you know, focusing your attention into your hand first, and then focus your attention into your stomach, and whenever you get really pixely in the stomach and your stomach is buzzing and vibrating, then start to move, and you're going through the mechanics of it. You're slowing the mechanics of it down. I like to do that with shamanism, with teaching shamanism. I like to slow the mechanics of astral projection and bilocation and apparition, and I like to slow all that down and talk the clients through it so that they, you know, get to experience it step by step really slowly, and then as they practice that slowly, then they speed up, and before they know it, they're doing it. So when you slow down astral projection, there is a feeling of being unstable, of the energy going back and forth, because you start to experience the rhythm of your flow. Some people do experience as if they are in a circle, and maybe they're floating around in a circle or in a figure eight, you know, in the pattern of the energy around your body. Your feet are grounded to the earth. Never ever do this without grounding yourself into the earth first. And even if you don't ground yourself into the earth, the very worst that you can expect is an upset stomach when you come back. A feeling of maybe lightheadedness and your stomach's a bit sick, but you will come back. You're not going to fly off into the cosmos or into the past or anything like that and get lost. It's not going to happen. But you will feel, maybe for the first few times, particularly with apparition and bilocation, you'll feel a kind of a sickness in your stomach. Because you're really coming out of only physical sensation, and you're feeling the etheric body and the astral body, and you're experiencing yourself as energy, as only energy. You're in an astral body, an energy body, not physical, not solid any longer, but just a sort of pixely and buzzy, vibrates. If sometimes, I guess some of you might have had journeys where you feel like you come out of the top of your head and you're off into the cosmos, and maybe you go so far. I mean, throw me up a comment if this is you, that maybe years ago you used to come out through the top of your head, feel yourself going up into the cosmos, up into the stars, and then maybe get to a stage where you couldn't actually feel that you were there anymore. You felt that you were just consciousness, but before you felt that feeling of just being consciousness, you might have felt as if your body was very pixely and fuzzy and starting to vanish. Throw me up a comment if any of you has experienced that. I know there's not a great many of you listening in right now, tonight, live, but there should be at least a very small percentage. Have a think about it, and if it comes to you, throw me up a wee comment and say, yes, I've had that experience. I used to have that experience all the time, and it's a great way to practice too. If you don't want to come out of your solar plexus for the first time, have that feeling that whee, out you go. You remember I said, do the swing boat for a while, get yourself all pixely in your stomach, and then let yourself move. Monica, have you had that experience? Yes. Yeah, it's a form of astral travel as well, and you're going into the cosmos, and you are in your astral body. If you were to look back, if you were to do that meditation and go up into the cosmos and then look down, you would feel like you would see yourself, and the split second you see yourself, you're going to come right back in again. Sharon says, why do I feel like it's a very bumpy ride coming back? Easier to get out and a bumpy ride coming back. And you're absolutely right, Sharon. It is a bumpy ride coming back at times. Have you ever woke up in the middle of the night with a jerk? It's because you've been out of your body. Yes, Orla, there can be a loud sound, like a rattling sound, before you come back in, the rattling sound. And again, I'm going to refer you to the middle of the night when you wake up, or you've been sitting on your chair and you've been nodding off, and you go like this, and you really jerk, because you jerk back into your body. When you're astral traveling, even if you're doing it during your sleep, the moment you come back in your body, you will wake up. You will jerk awake. It is like a landing, almost like the plane coming into land. Much easier than taking off. And you can also hear sound. How many of you have been woken in the middle of the night with kind of like as if, oh gosh, did somebody knock on the door there, or knock on the window? You can hear that, or just that sort of a sound. That's you coming back into your body. Yeah. Black Elk explained it to me one time why that is, and I'll try to find that, but I can't remember now, and he's just letting me get on with this here. He's not interfering with this here, because he's enjoying watching me. Yeah, and it can feel like falling off a cliff. It can feel like whoa, and you reach out to grab yourself. You wake up in the middle of the night and you go or and you hear this knocking sound. Yeah, and Sharon here says yes, and I shout hello, and so do I. And my husband wakes up and goes, what was that noise? Did you hear that noise? I says, that's probably you coming back into your body. Yeah. So you can do it when you're sleeping. You can do it when you're really drowsy. So you can do it when you're conscious. You just have to get yourself relaxed enough to do it. When you do it as a result of a car accident or some kind of shock or something like that, it doesn't last very long. I mean, the moment you realize what's going on, you're straight away back into your body. My own husband had a car accident in 2012, just Christmas 2012, and he'd rung me, and I thought he was dead, because on the phone, he was talking about, he's going, but he was experiencing himself outside of his body, and he thought that he was dying. And so when I got to him, he was just up the road, just up the hill, so I was able to get to him pretty quickly. When I got to him, he was in a car, but when I looked up the road from the car, about maybe 200 yards past the car, he was standing on the road, coming walking towards the car. So he was out of his body, and he remembers feeling, you know, very sort of out of it and all the rest, but he doesn't remember actually, you know, seeing the car in front of him or come walking towards the car. He doesn't remember it, and many people won't remember it unless you're out for at least a minute, or unless you're very conscious or filled with light. Then you know ready for it. Then perhaps you'll have some kind of awakening and you'll remember it then. Yeah, even the near-death experience I had, I think I don't remember an awful lot of that, and that's astral travel. That's a near-death experience. Is astral travel. You're out of your body. My body was below me in the car, and I looked down and saw the car, but didn't see my body. I just saw the roof of the car, and then I looked forwards and saw the tunnel, and went through and saw St. Paul. So yeah, you will hover for a while, and as I said last night, you can get this feeling that you're attached to your body via a cord. Some people talk about a silver cord, and I've seen that too. The first time I saw it, I was walking along a country road. It was maybe 2003, and I saw like a spirally cord, silver cord, reach out from my stomach out in front of me, and as I watched this cord, I felt as if I was being pulled by it, and that I wasn't walking along, but that I was drifting along. Now, I thought I was in my body and I thought I was walking forwards, but I was clearly outside of my body walking forwards. Had I turned around, I would have seen myself back a ways, but I didn't turn around. After that, I began to experience that cord many times, and there have been a couple of occasions when I have felt the presence of my physical presence behind me, and turn around sort of just in time to see myself disappear. And another occasion that was wonderful, great encouragement for me, was when I was collaborating with a friend of mine from Boston, and both of us were practicing astral travel to each other, and I managed to get into her kitchen and see her opening the fridge, and she was able to report back to me that she opened the fridge, she turned around, I was standing at her kitchen door, and the moment she saw me, I vanished. The moment I saw her, I vanished. So when I saw her and thought this can't be, I vanished. When she saw me and thought this can't be, I vanished. But it absolutely was the case. So practice. You're not going to get lost. You are attached to your body. I think was it Edgar Casey? Edgar Casey, he called that man. He was the most famous person for astral travel, and he used to talk about the silver cord, and he would never allow anybody to walk across that cord in case it would break, but it would never break. It never did break. It never would break. Nobody would ever break that cord. Alison is asking me, I had an experience doing a deep meditation when I was suddenly travelling towards white light. Felt very faint, clammy and sick. I was frightened. Would this be astral travel? Absolutely, Alison, that's what that was. That's what that was. You do, you know, I mean, because of my shamanic work and astral traveling and that, I would get that feeling very easily, you know.